Alright, so here's this video about exponential equations. In this video, we're going to talk about, Quinty, how to write exponential equations, and then how to use exponential equations to find specific values. Alright, so an exponential equation is this right here. Please write this down. The reason we call them exponential equations are because this x is no longer down here, but it's an exponent. Okay? That's what we call it, exponential equation. So this is the format that we're going to use to write exponential equations. I'm going to explain to you what the B and the R mean in just a minute, and how to write them and how to get them from a problem. And then we'll do a couple of examples in this video. Remember, you can pause, you can watch it again if you need to. And I am recording live from a class, and I won't be able to press pause because that messes up the video. For some reason, this is blinking, I'm not sure why. So, here, the first part is B. B is the beginning. B is the beginning. Okay? It's the beginning amount. That means how many, Miguel, can you stop doing that, please? How many there are at the start. How many there are at the start. Now, this is also very important, because this we're going to talk about. We're going to do some examples of this tomorrow in class. This is the Y-intercept. So when you look at the graph, it's the Y-intercept. And like I said, we're going to do more examples of this tomorrow. It's also, if you look at the table, Quinty and Elia, who I might have to move in just a minute, it's where x equals 0. This is when you look at the table. So this is your beginning. This is how many there are to start with. The beginning amount. Alright. Now this R. The R is the rate. The R is the rate. Now rate is a little bit different. Okay? You have two kinds of rates. You either have growth, which means that this is getting bigger, increasing, or you have decay. You have decay, which means decreasing, it's getting smaller. Okay? So there's growth and then there's decay. Growth, it's getting bigger, there's more. Decay, getting smaller. Okay? When it's growth, and again I apologize about the flickering, I'm not sure why it's doing that. When it's growth, that means your rate is bigger than 1. Okay? Your rate is bigger than 1. When it's decay, your rate is less than 1. Okay? Okay, so you're going to see two main types of this rate. Okay? Take off the headphones. Alright. The first one that you might see, okay, is a percent. Okay? Or you might see some words. Okay. So, when you have the percent, there's something you have to do with that. Okay? I don't know if I left myself enough space. We're about to find out. So, when they give you a percent in the problem, here's what you're going to do. It's going to be, if it's growth, it's going to be 1 plus the decimal that we're going to figure out. If it's decay, it's 1 minus the decimal. Okay? So if it's growth, it's 1 plus the decimal. If it's decay, it's 1 minus. So what do you do with this percent? How do you get this decimal? For this decimal, you need to divide percent by 100. Okay, one more time. You divide the percent by 100. So if they give you the percent, you need to take that percent and divide by 100. If it's a growth, you do 1 plus. If it's decay, you do 1 minus. Okay, and I'll show you an example of that. Now, what if they give you some words? Some of the words they might give you for growth are, I know, just give me a second. Some of the words they might give you are twice. Now, you don't have to do the 1 plus, divide, you don't have to do that. For twice, the rate is 2. If they say the word double, the rate is 2. It's just 2. You don't have to do 1 plus. Alright, if they say triple, the rate is 3. Okay, if they say the word half, then the rate is 1/2. So they might give you two kinds of things to figure out the rate. They might give you a percent. Not sure why it's flickering. They might give you a percent, or they might have to give you some words. And here's what you do. There's a difference between the two. Okay? We're going to do an example in just a minute so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I've been gone for 2 days.
For triple is 3?
Say again? For triple is 3. Yes, triple is 3.
Triple?
Triple. All right. So let's do our first example before you got to do some on your own. Thank you for telling me. I'm not sure why you told me that, but thank you. Okay. Here's the first example. And I have it written down. I don't want to make it different than the other class. Maybe I do want to make it different. All right. So, the deer population in North Carolina maybe I could have done that, but I didn't. The deer population in North Carolina was 628 in the beginning of hunting season. We can hear the music. Turn it off.
What? It's W-A-S?
Was? Yes, W-A-S. The population is decreasing by 16%. So, the deer population in North Carolina was 628. You need me to raise it up?
Yes.
Okay. In the beginning of hunting season. So, we're talking about deer. They're animals, and people sometimes like to hunt deer. So, at the beginning of the hunting season, there was 628. The population is decreasing by 16%. So, here's what we're going to do. Okay, Jose? We're going to do two things. We always do these two things for these kinds of problems. My equation, do you remember, is y equals b parentheses r to the power of x. That's my equation. So it has two parts. My beginning and my rate. So the first part is my b. So when you look at this problem, How many were there at the beginning?
628.
628. That's my beginning, because that's how many there were at the beginning. So I write down on my paper 628. That's my beginning.
That B or 30?
That's a B.
Which is a country or city 600? Is million or just
628 deer.
what? Deer.
Deer are animals.
How do you say it? Ahio.
Alright, my rate. My rate. Now, if you notice, they give you a percent. Okay? They didn't say double, they didn't say twice, they didn't say triple, they said 16%. Alright? Now, with my rate, I either do 1 plus or 1 minus.
Minus.
It's
Okay.
minus decreasing.
It tells me decreasing. It tells me decreasing in the problem. Do we have a question, Elia?
Yes.
So increasing?
It says decreasing.
Increasing?
Decreasing is smaller. So that would be minus. 1 minus.
Está igual a discretion.
1 minus. Okay? Now, what goes in here is going to be the decimal. What goes in there is going to be the decimal. So, because it's decreasing, I put minus. I put minus because it's decreasing. So I take this percent, and just like I wrote up here, I take the percent and I divide the percent by 100, because 100 means percent per 100. So I take 16 and I'm going to divide that by 100. I'm going to show you how to do that on the calculator in just a minute. So, turn your calculator on. Let me give you a chance, if you don't have a calculator, to go get a calculator. Let me give you a chance to get a calculator if you don't have one. Yes, sir. You want me to move it which direction? Like, you need to see this? So I got my beginning. You're going to divide. Okay, so let me show you. So you're going to go to New Document.
Mira el niño molestando, luego dice que faltó.
Excuse me.
Who's bugging you?
Yeah.
What did I say?
We're going to talk in just a minute. As soon as I stop recording, so I can see what's going on between the two of you. Alright, so do you want to save? No, thank you. You're going to add calculator. The first one, add calculator. Add calculator. Okay? Well, you're going to type in 16 divided by 100. So, in here, you're going to type in 16 divide by 100. Okay? Now, this needs to be a decimal. This needs to be a decimal. So, you're going to press Control
Enter.
and then Enter. Control, Enter.
Control. And
Control is the yellow, my case is blue, then Enter. Alright, so the decimal, please write this down, is 0.16. So my rate is 1 minus 0.16. Alright, so here is my equation now. Y equals my beginning. My beginning is 628.
Alejandra.
Okay?
Found your attendance verification sheet. She finally got it.
Haven't figured out. Alright. My beginning is 628. My beginning is 628. Then, next to that, in parentheses, goes my rate. So, in this problem, it's 1 minus 0.16. 1 minus 0.16. I got the 0.16 when I divided 16 by 100, and then I put my exponent. That is how I got my equation. My beginning, it's decreasing, so I put 1 minus, and then the decimal. Alright, do we have any questions?
No.
Alright, here's going to be the next question for you. This would be the answer to number 1. This would be the second question. they would ask you how many deer in 14 months. How many deer in 14 months? So I'm going to show you how to do that next so that you could do some practice problems on your own. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your calculator, okay, and you're going to actually use a table to answer this question. Okay, this is one of our strategies to make a table. It's not, Miguel, thank you. I can see the clock. It's not time to go yet. Alright, so you're going to go to a new document. New document. Again. And you're going to go to graphs this time. You're going to go to graphs. Our strategy is going to be using the table on the calculator to answer this question. When you get to graphs, you're going to type in your equation into the calculator. I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to type in this into the calculator to make a table. So type in 628, parentheses. These are the parentheses right here next to the 0. Parentheses 1. It's turning back on, Miguel. I can see that it turns off too, you know. 1 minus 0.16. 0.16. Alright, now to put this x as an exponent, let me show you how to do that. First, press the arrow so it's outside the parentheses. To get this exponent, you're going to use this one right here. That's the caret symbol right there. Next to the 7, next to the number 4. Do you have a question, Jose? Juan Diego, you're good? Okay, and then press enter. Type in x. Now, the reason you do not see your graph, okay, is because your beginning is 628. I'm explaining that right now. The reason you don't see a graph is because it's 628 is the beginning. If you look at this, if this starts at 6, this isn't even close to 600. You're way zoomed in. But we're going to use a table, remember? So we're going to press Control T. We're going to press Control T. Control the yellow. And then T. And then you get a table. The problem is asking for 14 months. So this is decreasing each month. So let me show you. I'm going to zoom in so you can know what I'm talking about. In this first one, okay? Now, if you don't have this on your table, then you did something wrong. If you don't have this in your table, you did something wrong. Okay, the first one that we see is 0, 628. Remember what I said, your beginning is your y-intercept. That's why x is equal to 0. Okay, in this first month, 527 deer are left over. In the second month, 443. And so forth. It's asking me for 14 months. 14 months is right there. In 14 months, oops, sorry, you're right. In 14 months, thank you, Miguel. I heard it the first time. In 14 months, there are 54 deer left. So that would be your answer to number 2. First answer is the equation. Second answer is 54 deer. Thank you for watching.
Goodbye. Así es su último goodbye.